What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. Chance and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in everyone
Welcome
to
in, everybody.
another episode of Sports 10.
Of Sports 10 4 Talk.
A 410 Sports Talk. He says he wants to ruin my intro. He finally did it.
Yep.
I'm Glenn Martin here with James Haskell.
Wait. You didn't look at the Michael Scott quote.
That's right. And you better get, was it Pizza Balfredo?
Yeah.
I can't
Alfredo's
remember.
Pizza Cafe.
That's right.
Michael,
yeah.
They're two different things, Michael.
That's right. Very serious difference between the two. But yes, in this video, we are here to talk another positional battle. This time, we're talking quarterback. Now, we understand we're not trying to troll. We understand there is no battle for the number one spot that is firmly in Lamar Jackson has got that in stone. There's no doubt about it. But the question is, do they keep two? Do they keep three? And if it's only two, who's getting cut? So, Jimbo, I know there's a lot of people passionate on either side. I know you have a pretty big stake in one of these guys. So what's your thought going into thinking about who they're going to keep and how many?
Yeah. So, that's kind of where I want to start in. There's only one way, like you said, Glenn, that Lamar Jackson is a number one, and that's like, an alien abduction.
Yes.
Or something of that nature. Certainly, unless that happens, Lamar Jackson is our number one quarterback. But I want to start with the overall number, and I'm just going to say it here. I think that we go with two. I think the reason we go with two is because whether it is Trace or whether it is Huntley, I think both of them have proven to a certain extent some, and I'll reveal who more than the other, but that they can carry the bag in an emergency type situation. And so I think that we go with two. The other reason I think that is because we have a lot of depth. We've made a lot of draft picks. If I'm not mistaken, we've had the most draft picks since Eric DeCosta has been the GM in the NFL. If I'm not mistaken, I believe is what it is. Either way, I know that we're in the top three, but I'm pretty sure that we've had the most. So with that being said, we're also not the team that's going to cut draft picks. So anywhere where we can trim the fat, if you will, and I think we're going to do it. And I think this is one place that we can do it. So I think we go with two, and that's kind of where I want to start, but I don't want to reveal who yet. How do you feel on the numbers? Where are you at? Are you at two or are you at three? Where's your head at?
Yeah. So in years past, when the Ravens have a young quarterback, they typically like to keep three. They like to keep a veteran on the staff, usually the first year, and then a third guy in case something were to happen. But just like with Joe Flacco, once he establishes himself as a talented starter in the league, a guy who doesn't need a veteran to be in his ear going over situations, once they've absorbed enough, they can cut that need. So they get rid of the need of having a vet, and then they can decide if they want to keep two, if there's a risk of injury. So if the guy's coming into camp with a nagging knee, like we saw Joe when he was coming back from the knee injury, they felt the need to keep an extra guy. But if the guy is 100% healthy and already an established and successful starter in the league, the Ravens have shown they only keep two guys. So I agree with you. I think this year Lamar has shown enough over the past few seasons. The need is not there to keep three guys. He's shown he can remain healthy. And outside of the playoff game where he hit his head too hard, he's had no issues in that department. So I agree with you. They will only be two quarterbacks. But also another reason why I think they only keep two is I think very easily they could slide whoever doesn't make the team onto the practice squad. I mean, I would be absolutely stunned if another team found value in taking that third guy from the Ravens and activating them on their 53 without any preseason, without any training camp. I don't see the point. I don't think that they're talented enough to where teams just go, wow, we can't pass on this guy. We got to add him and make a sacrifice elsewhere. I just don't see it. So I think for all those reasons, I agree with you. They keep two. And the question is, who do they keep? So we've seen brief stints of both of these guys. Of course, Trace McSorley had the injury last year, and I'm wondering how much that's going to count against him. Of course, that was the famed game where Lamar had the cramping, went to the locker room before ultimately coming back and saving the Ravens and leading them to a win over the Browns. So, Jimmy, let me ask you this. How much does the Trace injury, do you think that he's going to be limited at all in this camp, and could that affect him ultimately making the roster?
No, I think he's fine. I think he'll be full go. And so I don't think, as far as injury goes, I don't think Trace will have any limitations there. It ended up being a sprain, right? And
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while since then, and I don't think he had any surgery or anything like that. Nothing was reported. So I think he'll be totally fine. I think what this to me, the way I'm making my decision, obviously I have a bias here in that Tyler Huntley and I had the opportunity to see him play at the University of Utah, so I saw him pretty closely. Trace and Tyler are both really, really good college players. I think that's why Trace McSorley has a lot of love, because he was a good college, quarterback. But I think that Tyler Huntley last year proved that the moment is not too big for him. Proved that he has the fundamentals and the physical tools to be an NFL quarterback. I think he more aligns with our type of play stylistically from a quarterback perspective, and would be easier to plug in than maybe a Trace. Not saying that Trace can't do it all. No one can do it all in comparison to Lamar Jackson, but I think that there is more similarities between Tyler's game and Lamar's game than there is between Trace's game and Lamar's game. But also, I really like Tyler's his arm. I think he's got a cannon. And I think he's a real player. I think he's got good feet. I think he's a good leader. I know. He took us to some of the best offensive seasons that we've had at the University of Utah in history. Other than, of course, there's 2 years with Alex Smith and then the Sugar Bowl year. But offensively speaking, I think Tyler Huntley is the second best quarterback we ever had at the University of Utah, behind Alex Smith. And I don't know how many people would argue that. So I have a lot of faith in him when the lights get bright in big moments. So I think he's our guy moving forward. And I think the Ravens would be really happy and excited to have him as a number 2. The other thing I'll add, he was an undrafted guy, and people talk about that all the time. Why did he go undrafted? He got undrafted. He went undrafted in a COVID year when he had some injuries in college, knee and ankle and a shoulder injury. They didn't get an opportunity to evaluate those. And so I think that was why he fell.
Gotcha.
I think it was just lack of visibility into those medicals, where I think if, 999,999 times out of a million, when you have that draft and you take a look at those medicals and realize it's nothing long-term, he gets picked up in the draft. So I'm planting my flag in Tyler Huntley's camp. I think we go with Tyler Huntley.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me just give a little bit that we have seen these two in very brief stints as quarterbacks. And let me just give you their stats. So through 2 years, Trace McSorley is 3 for 10 for 90 yards and a touchdown passing the ball. And of course, the bulk of that came on a 70-yard touchdown pass that he hit. So certainly got the most of his production in one play. And then Tyler Huntley is 3 for 5 on his young career for 15 yards. So not a ton to look at as far as them on the field. But I agree with you, Jimbo. In the time we saw them, while brief, I didn't, when I saw Trace, I know he buckled because of the knee. But I got to be honest, I didn't see, and it's a tough position. He came in a very tough spot. I understand that. But I didn't see a ton from him in that spot that led me to much confidence if he weren't hurt on that play, that he would have been able to do much, to picking up that fourth down and ultimately, doing anything close to what Lamar did. So, but then when I look at Tyler Huntley, yeah, he missed a big throw. I think a lot of people remember the critics point to that throw he missed, but the man, he showed so much poise under that crazy situation. So as crazy as the situation Trace was thrust into in that Browns game, when it was a back and forth, you guys score, we score. It's even crazier to think what Tyler was thrown into, a playoff game against the Bills. it was insane. And yet we didn't see, it just looked better. It's hard to explain when you talk about composure. It's hard to kind of, look at it. You certainly can't find it in the stat sheet, but he just looked comfortable. He looked confident. He was able to, use both his legs and his arm. And man, it's hard to say if he hit it, but if man, he hits that one play, then it's not even a discussion. If he hits that throw, it's obvious who's the better performer is so far. And you don't want to take away stuff either, but outside of that one long play, you haven't really seen much from either of these guys. So they're both kind of young in their career. But I agree. If I had to bet on one guy, I would lean towards Tyler because of the similarity in play style. And let's be honest, I mean, all the reports coming out of camp, he throws a very catchable and pretty deep ball. They say he throws the prettiest ball of the group, including Lamar Jackson, which we all know doesn't always throw the prettiest of spirals. I lean towards Tyler. I think there's no doubt they only keep 2, and there's no reason. Like, there's not going to be a team that's going to pick Trace McSorley up and sign him to their 53. There's just not. I can't imagine a scenario in which he's not able to slide through the practice squad, and then we can still call upon him when needed. He's still going to be involved in the practices, obviously, doing some scout team stuff. There's going to be plenty of opportunity to continue to improve his game, get better, and still be in an arm's reach if need be.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you. I figured we would align on this one because, like you said, it's really hard to. Obviously, you can't extrapolate it in the stats, but certainly, you look at Tyler and the game didn't look too fast for him. He looked, like you said, the composure was there. He wasn't jittery. He wasn't, tap dancing back there. And those things go far when, like you said, you have limited tape, right? You can only do so much. And so I agree with you. Just like I said at the beginning, I'd be really interested to know what your guys' thoughts are. If there's anyone out there that says we're going to keep 3, let us know. But Glenn and I both feel pretty confident that it's going to be 2, and that'll be Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley. Let us know if you have a differing opinion. Give us all your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll talk to you guys soon.